Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the vlog, Car Connections. Gorgeous this morning here in Houston, Texas. I'm going to say it's about 60, 65 degrees. Having a nice little cup of coffee. And what we're going to do right now is just do a quick little overview on a 5-month of the Hyundai IONIQ 5N. Now, as you guys have been following the channel, it's kind of a hit and miss with the car for me personally. One thing, regardless of what my personal vibe on the car is and what I think the car is missing and how it doesn't fit my lifestyle and how, it has certain attributes that maybe don't line up to some other cars that I've bought. One thing we can't take away from the car is that it's a well-rounded vehicle. It's a 4-door, and it does a lot of things right, i.e. specifically around handling and suspension. So that's the piece I really want to focus on. Some vlogs I've dropped where it seemed like I was bashing the car. And as I look back on them, I could see why folks had a certain type of sentiment as to why I felt like that about the car. But the reality is, it's still a fantastic, daily driver and primary car for some folks. And of course, it's going to be an excellent track car. Overall, the car has been holding up extremely well. I haven't taken it to the Hyundai dealership for any type of issues. The only thing that I can call out is something related to the app. It's not connecting or talking to the car. And Hyundai has asked me to take it in so they can do some type of reprogramming. I'm not sure, but that's it. In regards to the brakes, suspension components, overall driving experience is still the same in 5 months. No issues. This car did have some type of a creak going on in the rear hatch. During certain maneuvering or turns, the car would make like a weird tingy noise in the back of the hatch, and that seems to have subsided as well. So I think just normal wear and tear on the vehicle driving it has ultimately completely, like 90% of the time, disappeared. I still hear it from now on, depending on a certain type of turn. I do have fun with the car, guys. So I do certain, aggressive turning in Mexico, and so far so well. Interior has been holding up. Again, it might not be my cup of tea, and again, part of it is probably some of the cars I've purchased in the past. But overall interior, how has it been holding up? Great. Again, only 5 months. Car has about 3,800 miles, and everything is holding up very, very well. Besides that, the only thing I can share with you guys is, if you're looking for a specific car that can do multiple things for you, be a great enjoyment for you to drive on the weekend, and if you're a family person that has maybe multiple cars or just needs one car, this car could do it for you, and it could solve that for you. The only caveat again is, or limitation is, you might need a secondary car just because, the limitation in its range. But if you can get past the range and you're not really taking this car on a long road trip or long commutes, you're going to perfectly fine. Very important that you probably have, a charging infrastructure of some sort, level 2 at your home, which I do. It kind of goes underneath it. And, but yeah, if there's anything else that I've noticed with the car, again, the car has been holding up great. No issues. I mean, again, it's a purpose track built machine. And, again, I got to give credit to them. I got to give credit to the Hyundai division and the team and the Performance End division. They did a good job, guys. Just because I've been spoiled with other type of cars, I don't want folks to be influenced by my comments not to buy this car. That's just a personal belief that I've dropped in my previous vlogs around how the car might not fit my lifestyle. And part of it is I already have an SUV. My wife drives a Rivian R1S, has about a 300-mile range. So that's kind of like our our family vehicle, and this is kind of my secondary car. And then the other thing just to be cognizant is that I'm a YouTube blogger, right? And I like different type of cars. And so I tend to go through cars every 6 to 9 months. And it's just something that I like. It's a hobby of mine. It can get quite expensive, for each his own, right? But yeah, it could be for sure an expensive hobby. You know, I do want to call this out because somebody had asked me a question. Why did you pay, you know, the 68 or 69,000? This car again sells MSRP, guys, from Hyundai, which I think it's a problem. I do believe that the car is still overpriced for what it brings. I'm still holding true to that. I think the car should be closer to like maybe 60,000. And what's interesting is you can now get one of these brand new from the dealership for around 59, 60,000. Okay. And so that number starts to line up a little bit more of where I think the car should be in line. I think the car was originally overpriced by at least $10,000. And so I think now, if you're in the market for one of these cars, I think at $60,000, I think it's a great buy. Again, it does a lot of the things I just shared with you guys. And so it would be a very, very smart buy if you're looking for that. Again, it depends. The color can be very polarizing. I get it. Some people think it's red, and it is kind of a reddish tint to it. But however, during the sun, it is orange. So I just want to make sure folks know that. And I know some people, and maybe the camera's not doing it justice right now. But going back to the price, you know, just to share a little bit of insight of what I ultimately paid for this car. So the first thing is just important for you guys to know, again, I've been buying a lot of cars for a long time. And so you kind of get an idea of how to negotiate cars and try not to get your ass kicked, right? I go through so many cars that I'm not naive to know that if I ultimately decide to sell a car after 6-9 months, you know, I'm probably going to take a hit, especially on something so new. And so in knowing that, I got to make sure I'm very smart around the negotiation piece, knowing the way I go through cars. So that way, when the time comes to sell the car, the losses are not extremely stupid. So just to share you a quick number on this car, so you guys get some insight. This car was listed again for about $68,500 sticker. And I was able to take $3,000 off, $2,900 basically $3,000 off the sticker, off the car, okay? And so that puts me closer to call it $65,000. The other thing I did with this car, which is a loophole in case you don't know, but you can actually lease this car. And by leasing it, you'll qualify for the $7,500 tax or federal tax credit. And so if you do the 75 plus the 3 that I just shared, I basically got around $10,500 off this car. Because then what you can do right after you lease the car, you can do a lease buyout. And by doing the lease buyout, basically you get your own bank to finance the car, but now you get it at the discounted price of the $10,500 that I just shared with you. So just know that if you want to buy an electric car right now, they do qualify. However, I don't know with the new administration if that's going away. But sometimes the best way is to lease to qualify. And then if you're planning on keeping the car, is to do the lease buyout. And that way, you get the $7,500, then you do the buyout through your credit union. And again, you end up saving $7,500. So basically at the end of the day, and I did give a little bit of down, I think it was like $2,500. And that $2,500 included a partial amount of that was the first payment of the car, because that's the way leases at time of signing, they typically want upfront payment or the first payment of the car. So the $2,500 included a percent of that payment. So that gives you an idea of where I'm at. I think at the end of the day, I was financing, I think probably like $56,000, $57,000, something like that. Don't quote me. It's around that number. And I did a lease of 32 months or 36 months, one of those. I've had the car again for about 5-6 months, and now at this point I do have it listed for sale, and I think currently I have it listed for sale, I think for like 53, 54, and I think I owe like 56 on it or 57. So there it goes to show that this car, if I do sell it for say 53, 52, 51, whatever we end up, I will be at a loss with this specific car for about maybe $3,000. That might seem a lot for a lot of people, and I get it, but you know, I get to enjoy different cars. It lines up to my budget. It doesn't disrupt our home finances, and so I'm able to do these things. And so sometimes some cars do cost me losses of those amounts of $2,000-$3,000. That tends to be where I land at. I tend to try to negotiate knowing that number. There has been several cars for sure that I've purchased where I actually break even or make money. I have plenty of those examples as well. So all in all, you know, if I look at my entire car buying history, I probably do have more losses than wins, but I've also owned around 50 plus cars, guys, which is very unusual for most folks. And I've really enjoyed it. You know, there's a story, you know, I'm in my mid 40s, and it's like, you know, Edgar, you know, they see me buying these cars and they're like, man, he's going through a midlife crisis. I'm like, dude, I've been in a midlife crisis, I guess, my entire life. So I haven't waited for the midlife crisis to happen to go out and buy some type of car I've been wanting my entire life. I've been buying them since I think my early 20s, and it's been a vicious cycle. And I know it's an addiction, and I've been blessed to somehow maintain the addiction, and again, not ruin our internal financial well-being and preparedness for the future. I know I just shared more on the car and the overview of the car, but I wanted to share you guys some insight, just so you guys know. And the last thing is I'll leave you guys with this. As you guys can see, I've had a lot of orange cars in the channel, so orange is my favorite color. And so I want to let you guys know about a little surprise I have in the back of this garage about the upcoming car to the channel. So if you lasted this long, you're probably a loyal subscriber, and I appreciate you guys. And again, please turn on your notification, hit the thumbs up. But you're about to get something, or a preview of my new car for the channel, as this car sits here and waits to be sold in the coming, you know, who knows, I don't know, weeks, months, whatever it takes. I went ahead and pulled the trigger on a different car. So if you last this long, congratulations, you're about to see the new ride to the channel. So yeah, so without further ado, guys, this is the new ride that's coming to the channel. Some of you guys have been following the channel for quite some time will recognize this car, as I've owned this car before. And I think the biggest thing for me is I haven't owned, if you want to call it an ICE vehicle, I don't know, in about 5 years. I've had some of them back and forth, but primarily my cars have been all electric, which I have enjoyed. But this right here is what you see is a 2023 Camaro ZL1 1LE. And I've had it so far about maybe a week. I bought it from a dealership out of Tennessee. 2023 has about 22 months of factory warranty remaining. Bought the car with about 245 miles. It's a car that I had back in 2019, the exact same spec. It's a 10-speed automatic, and I really, really enjoyed and missed that car. So it's back in the stable, and I hope you guys follow the channel as I start to post more about the car. But an amazing spec. What's interesting is similar colors, and they have similarities when it comes to like track and handling performance, but very different. This feels a little tingy, the suspension, but it's very well. This just feels like a bullet, like a tank. Everything is very well buttoned up together. The Alpha platform on this car is just fantastic. And so just wanted to give you a quick little preview of the car. And we're back into the ice machine with my new Camaro ZL1 1LE. All right, guys, I'll leave it at that. If you enjoyed this, again, hit the thumbs up. And more to come on the channel, specifically on that ride. Peace.